Hello, everybody. This is Kim, and we are on Leviticus 9. Thanks for joining me for this read. On the eighth day of the consecration ceremonies, Moses summoned Aaron and Aaron's sons and the elders of Israel, and told Aaron to take a bull calf from the herd for a sin offering, and a ram without bodily defect for a burnt offering, and to offer them before the Lord. And tell the people of Israel, Moses instructed, to select a male goat for their sin offering, also a yearling calf and a yearling lamb, all without bodily defect, for their burnt offering. In addition, the people are to bring to the Lord a peace offering sacrifice, an ox and a ram and a grain offering, flour mingled with olive oil. For today, Moses said, Jehovah will appear to them. So they brought all these things to the entrance of the tabernacle, as Moses had commanded, and the people came and stood there before the Lord. Moses told them, When you have followed the Lord's instructions, his glory will appear to you. Moses then told Aaron to proceed to the altar and to offer the sin offering and the burnt offering, making atonement for himself first, and then for the people, as the Lord had commanded. So Aaron went up to the altar and killed the calf as a sacrifice for his own sin. His sons caught the blood for him, and he dipped his finger in it and smeared it upon the horns of the altar, and poured out the rest at the base of the altar. Then he burned upon the altar the fat, kidneys, and gallbladder from this sin offering, as the Lord had commanded Moses, but he burned the meat and hide outside the camp. Next he killed the burnt offering animal, and his sons caught the blood, and he sprinkled it back and forth upon the altar. They brought the animal to him piece by piece, including the head, and he burned each part upon the altar. Then he washed the insides and the legs, and offered these also upon the altar as a burnt offering. Next he sacrificed the people's offering. He killed the goat and offered it in just the same way as he had the sin offering for himself. Thus he sacrificed their burnt offering to the Lord, in accordance with the instructions God had given. Then he presented the grain offering, taking a handful and burning it upon the altar, in addition to the regular morning offering. Next he killed the ox and ram, the people's peace offering sacrifice, and Aaron's sons brought the blood to him, and he sprinkled it back and forth upon the altar. Then he collected the fat of the ox and the ram, the fat from their tails and the fat covering the inner organs, and the kidneys and gallbladders. The fat was placed upon the breasts of these animals, and Aaron burned it upon the altar. But he waved the breasts and right shoulder slowly before the Lord, as a gesture of offering it to him, just as Moses had commanded. Then with hands spread out towards the people, Aaron blessed them and came down from the altar. Moses and Aaron went into the tabernacle, and when they came out again, they blessed the people, and the glory of the Lord appeared to the whole assembly. Then fire came from the Lord and consumed the burnt offering and fat on the altar. And when the people saw it, they all shouted and fell flat upon the ground before the Lord. But Nadab and Abihu, the sons of Aaron, placed unholy fire in their censers, laid incense on the fire, and offered the incense before the Lord, contrary to what the Lord had just commanded them. So fire blazed forth from the presence of the Lord and destroyed them. Then Moses said to Aaron, This is what the Lord meant when he said, I will show myself holy among those who approach me, and I will be glorified before all the people. And Aaron was speechless. Then Moses called for Mishael and Elzaphan, Aaron's cousins, the sons of Uzziel, and told them, Go and get the charred bodies from before the tabernacle, and carry them outside the camp. So they went over and got them, and carried them out in their coats, as Moses had told them to. Then Moses said to Aaron and his sons, Eleazar and Ithamar, Do not mourn, do not let your hair hang loose as a sign of your mourning, and do not tear your clothes. If you do, God will strike you dead too, and his wrath will come upon all the people of Israel. But the rest of the people of Israel may lament the death of Nadab and Abihu, and mourn because of the terrible fire the Lord has sent. But you are not to leave the tabernacle under penalty of death, for the anointing oil of Jehovah is upon you. And they did as Moses commanded. Now the Lord instructed Aaron, never drink wine or strong drink when you go into the tabernacle, lest you die. And this rule applies to your sons and to all your descendants from generation to generation. Your duties will be to arbitrate for the people, to teach them the difference between what is holy and what is ordinary, what is pure and what is impure, and to teach them all the laws Jehovah has given through Moses. Then Moses said to Aaron and to his sons who were left, Eleazar and Ithamar, take the grain offering, the food that remains, after the handful has been offered to the Lord, by burning it on the altar. Make sure there is no leaven in it, and eat it beside the altar. The offering is most holy, therefore you must eat it in the sanctuary, in a holy place. It belongs to you and your sons, from the offerings to Jehovah made by fire. For so I am commanded. But the breast and the thigh, which have been offered to the Lord by the gesture of waving it before him, may be eaten in any holy place. It belongs to you and to your sons and daughters for your food. It is your portion of the peace offering, sacrifices of the people of Israel. The people are to bring the thigh that was set aside, along with the breast that was offered when the fat was burned, and they shall be presented before the Lord by the gesture of waving them. And afterwards they shall belong to you and your family, for the Lord has commanded this. Then Moses searched everywhere for the goat of the sin offering, and discovered that it had been burned. He was very angry about this with Eleazar and Ithamar, the remaining sons of Aaron. Why haven't you eaten the sin offering in the sanctuary, since it is most holy and God has given it to you to take away the iniquity and guilt of the people, to make atonement for them before the Lord? He demanded. Since its blood was not taken inside the sanctuary, you should certainly have eaten it there, as I ordered you. But Aaron interceded with Moses. They offered their sin offering and burnt offering before the Lord. He said, But if I had eaten the sin offering on such a day as this, would it have pleased the Lord? And when Moses heard that, he was satisfied. Then the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, Tell the people of Israel that the animals which may be used for food include any animal with cloven hoofs which chews its cud. This means that the following may not be eaten. Tell the Lord. Then the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, Tell the people of Israel that these animals cannot be eaten. The camel, it chews the cud but does not have cloven hooves. The coney or rock badger, because although it chews the cud, it does not have cloven hooves. The hare, because although it chews the cud, it does not have cloven hooves. And the swine, because although it has cloven hooves, it does not chew the cud. You may not eat their meat or even touch their dead bodies. They are forbidden foods for you. As to fish, you may eat whatever has fins and scales, whether taken from rivers or from the sea. But all other water creatures are strictly forbidden to you. You mustn't eat their meat or even touch their dead bodies. I'll repeat it again. Any water creature that does not have fins or scales is forbidden to you. Among the birds, these are the ones you may not eat: the eagle, the meteor, the osprey, the falcon, all kinds, the kite, the raven, all kinds, the ostrich, the nighthawk, the seagull, the hawk, all kinds, the owl, the cormorant, the ibis, the marsh hen, the pelican, the vulture, the stork, the heron of all kinds, the hoopoe, the bat. No insects may be eaten, with the exception of those that jump. Locusts of all varieties, ordinary locusts, bald locusts, crickets, and grasshoppers may be eaten. All insects that fly and walk or crawl are forbidden to you. Anyone touching their dead bodies shall be defiled until the evening, and must wash his clothes immediately. He must also quarantine himself until nightfall, as being ceremonially defiled. You are also defiled by touching any animal with only semi-parted hoofs, or any animal that does not chew the cud. Any animal that walks on paws is forbidden to you as food. Anyone touching the dead body of such an animal shall be defiled until evening. Anyone carrying away the carcass shall wash his clothes and be ceremonially defiled until evening, for it is forbidden to you. These are the forbidden small animals which scurry around your feet or crawl upon the ground: the mole, the rat, the great lizard, the gecko, the mouse, the lizard, the snail, the chameleon. Anyone touching their dead bodies shall be defiled until evening, and anything upon which the carcass falls shall be defiled. Any article of wood or clothing, a rug, a sack, anything it touches, must be put into water and is defiled until evening. After that it may be used again. If it falls into a pottery bowl, anything in that bowl is defiled, and you shall smash the bowl. If the water used to cleanse the defiled article touches any food, all of it is defiled. Any drink which is in the defiled bowl is also contaminated. If the dead body of such an animal touches any clay oven, it is defiled and must be smashed. If the body falls into a spring or cistern where there is water, that water is not defiled, yet anyone who pulls out the carcass is defiled. And if the carcass touches grain to be sown in the field, it is not contaminated, but if the seeds are wet and the carcass falls on it, the seed is defiled. If an animal which you are permitted to eat dies of disease, anyone touching the carcass shall be defiled until evening. Also anyone eating its meat or carrying away its carcass shall wash his clothes and be defiled until evening. Animals that crawl shall not be eaten. This includes all reptiles that slither along on their bellies, as well as those that have legs. No crawling thing with many feet shall be eaten, for it is defiled. Do not defile yourselves by touching it. I am the Lord your God. Keep yourselves pure concerning these things, and be holy, for I am holy. Therefore do not defile yourselves by touching any of these things that crawl upon the earth. For I am the Lord who brought you out of Egypt to be your God. You must therefore be holy, for I am holy. These are the laws concerning animals, birds, and whatever swims in the water or crawls upon the ground. These are the distinctions between what is ceremonially clean and may be eaten, and what is ceremonially defiled and may not be eaten, among all animal life upon the earth. The Lord told Moses to give these instructions to the people of Israel. When a baby boy is born, the mother shall be ceremonially defiled for 7 days, and under the same restrictions as during her monthly menstrual periods. On the 8th day her son must be circumcised. Then for the next 33 days, while she is recovering from her ceremonial impurity, she must not touch anything sacred nor enter the tabernacle. When a baby girl is born, the mother's ceremonial impurity shall last 2 weeks, during which time she will be under the same restrictions as during menstruation. Then for a further 66 days she shall continue her recovery. When these days of purification are ended, the following instructions are applicable, whether her baby is a boy or a girl. She must bring a yearling lamb as a burnt offering, and a young pigeon or a turtle dove for a sin offering. She must take them to the door of the tabernacle to the priest, and the priest will offer them before the Lord and make atonement for her. Then she will be ceremonially clean again after her bleeding at childbirth. These then are the procedures after childbirth. But if she is too poor to bring a lamb, then she must bring 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons. One will be for a burnt offering, the other for a sin offering. The priest will make atonement for her with these, so that she will be ceremonially pure again. And that is the end of our reading for today. Thank you for joining me, and God bless you.